Why give the child, your precious child, a name after something that you deem so ugly? Hello YouTubers, welcome to my channel. What are we talking about today? What are we saying? Come on, Otis. Come here. Come on. Come here. Yes, come here. Come on. Well, I want to bring to the attention about things that I've said before, but I think they do warrant another look. But I want to go back to something that I think is important to talk about, and that is the Black community. And how I believe the Black community, more specifically, is being duped by a fraudster. I think Meghan Markle is a fraud. And I don't say it to be mean or malicious, but I'm just looking so deep into the choices that she makes. Now, someone might argue, you know, she can do what she wants. And that is true. You know, Meghan Markle, Harry, you know, they can all just do what they want to do because they have their lives and they can live their lives however they want to live their lives. But when you live your life on a public stage, you are essentially living in a public spotlight. And people are going to look at you and they are going to make judgments, assessments. They're going to get a certain feeling about who you are because you are a public person. And I come to a conclusion about what she comes off to me as. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm all about women empowerment. I'm all about supporting Black women. I'm all about lifting fellow females up, especially my Black sister girls. We lift each other up. You know, I'm in business. I do business with Black women every day. So I don't want this to come off as, and I know it will be, people will look at it like that, but like, girl, you stop ragging on your fellow sister girl. Okay, people are going to say that, but they don't know that they say that out of ignorance. They really do. Because if you knew me personally, if you knew my story, if you knew what I'm about, you would eat those words. Because I'm not about just ragging on someone just because. No, I do things that are very much thought about. I'm not going to purposely come out and just start spewing hate. And that's not what it is. But people will interpret it as such. We really have to look at and put a lot more focus and emphasis on people as individuals and not try to sum up people based on their skin color. And it seems like you wouldn't have to say that. You would think that people would just know that. But you can't default to talking about someone or making judgment about someone just because of the color of their skin. That seems so elementary to me. That is so, why? Why would you make something so important like someone's character based that on something so superficial as the color of their skin? To me, that doesn't even make sense. But people will call myself out and others who do speak out and say that's what we're doing. That we're just ragging on someone because of the color of their skin. Like, why would you do that? No. And this is why I want people to really hear what I'm saying. It's so much deeper. Because when you are on a public stage and you are making choices and you are doing things and people are watching you on this public stage, you are essentially telling people the kind of person you are. You are saying, I'm this kind of person without even talking to us, without even really doing much. Just your choices alone. Your choices alone are telling the story. So some people might say, well, you don't know what happened. You know, maybe the reporters or the sources of that news article were lying. And that really is not giving credit to the people who really have integrity behind their news articles. Because if I'm telling a story that's based on a news article and what I'm seeing is considered a lie because I got it from a news reporter and news reporters lie, that's really showing that you just don't give credit to people who do their jobs correctly, because you want to believe that the woman of color that I supposedly am ragging on is in the right or is doing things the right way, because these news source articles are lying. And that completely dismisses the integrity and the well-sourced articles that I do report from, or not even report from, but I speak about, or I speak from news articles. I say all of this essentially to say that we as Black people really have to look at the choices that said African American of descent person I speak about, Harry's wife, has made choices that essentially are trying to dupe us as Black people. It's really trying to take us for fools, essentially. And you can see it by calculating and looking at the choices that are made by said public person. And I'll give you a couple of situations that kind of can validate or give you something to contemplate and to think about, okay? So we know that Meghan has always essentially has considered herself a white woman. Now, that is completely fine. She has done things to address herself as a woman of Caucasian descent, because in reality, she does look like she is a white person. I mean, if I were in her body, I would probably say that as well, considering how I am purposely making myself look with my very straight hair and just the way my look in general is very vanilla. I'm not sure where I'm going with that, but you know, if Meghan wanted to be more on the ethnic side, she could. If she wore her hair more curly, she could have an ethnic look. I think she really could have the choice between whether or not she wanted to be more ethnic or more Caucasian. She could maybe tan up, wear her hair more kinky. You know, there are things that she could do to come off as someone of color. But she's essentially has been come off as a person of white descent. And a lot of people say that they didn't even know that she was Black until they saw her mother. So, you know, it's fair to say that, yeah, she's white. And there's nothing wrong with that. But this is where I think she's trying to take Black people for fools and trying to dupe us as African American people. We know that most recently she named her daughter Lilibet Diana after her mother-in-law and after the grandmother of the father, Harry. Now, you have to question someone that names a child after a woman that she has claimed to be within a racist institution. Like, just think about that. You named your child after the monarch, the British monarch, Queen Elizabeth. You named your child after this woman who you have essentially said she is a racist. Now, you didn't come out and say that the Queen is racist, contrary to the fact you said she's a very wonderful, loving person. But to know the Queen and to know what she stands for, she is the institution. She embodies the firm. She embodies everything about this great monarchy that we know Meghan and her husband have called a racist institution. So if that is the case, why would you name your child after someone that represents racism? I'm going to give you an extreme example. If I had a child and I named my child Hitler, what you gonna think? What you gonna think? You gonna be like, well, why did you do that? Do you know what this man has done? Do you know who he is or who he was, what he represented, all the bad things? Why would you name your child after someone like that? Think about it. So we as Black people have to question, why in the world would this woman, after everything she said on Oprah, name her child after the institution that we now are supposed to be like, shame on those royals. Royals, y'all's racist. Look what y'all said and questioned about the child, the unborn child of Meghan Markle. Y'all's racist. And look what y'all did years ago with the colonists and enslavement and how y'all treated people of color and all the Commonwealth. You guys are complete racist. If you are thinking this about the royal family, like this is your snapshot of what the royal family represent. Even Meghan herself said it. Why would you name your child after something that embodies racism? Why? Because if she were truly affected by the racism from the royal family and all that they have represented, that she and her husband have called out, because we've seen them do it on a number of occasions in interviews, not making this up. Why in the world would you then name your child after this racist institution and people and the monarch? Why? You're perpetrating, and you are essentially using the blackness, the drop of blackness that you have, as a way to gain sympathy, as a way to use it, to leverage it for your own well-being. That's not something that is near and dear to your heart. You've never really considered yourself a Black woman to really be affected by the racist allegations that you are speaking about. Because if you really were affected by racism, why would you name your child after the monarch who oversees a racist institution? And if you really felt that way, why not name your child after your Black mama? A Black person who's truly affected by racism would not make the choices that Meghan has made. On the contrary, they would do the opposite by invoking the traditions of their Black culture into something that they've deemed racist, to show them, now you are a part of the Black culture because I've named my child after a Black woman. And my child is a part of this racist institution. So to look at the choices that Harry's wife has done, you would have to look at her as someone who is trying to take Black people for a fool, or trying to delegitimize the whole things about racism that she claims to be affected by. Because she plays with it like all the racists are going to be a part of this institution and give them the best honor that someone could have, and that is to name my child after the head of this institution. So you have to look at her choices, look at the things that she has done, and for us as Black people, we cannot be duped. Says that you are really trying to play us over as Black people. Like, you are trying to make it seem like we've got to be so protective of you and really condemn these people or who are being so mean to you, when you, for one, have never really identified as being black. You named your child after this institution. Like, she's just like trying to play black people for, like, you know, I don't care about y'all. I'm just going to do what I'm going to do. And I'm going to use a little bit of black that I have to get what I want for me personally. She's certainly not trying to do things to represent being a woman of color, because if she were, she wouldn't behave the way she's behaving. Because the way she is behaving is repulsive. It is disrespectful. It is not okay to treat people the way you are treating them and expect them to have sympathy for you, to treat your family the way you treat your family, to not even recognize your black family, to not even bring them to your wedding. One person she brought is her black mother. And let's just see how long she's going to maintain contact with her black mother. She's leveraging, she's using her mother to get sympathy for racists that she can call out things as racist, or using that for her advantage. You see how she had the choir? I heard Charles was the one that had brought this choir in for the wedding. But Meghan is not trying to get behind black heritage and culture in a way that she tried to perpetrate it on the day of her wedding. Because if she did, why didn't she bring her black family? Why didn't she bring any family members from her mother's side? You cannot tell me that this is somebody who wants to be connected to their black heritage. She wants to use her black heritage. She doesn't want to connect to it in a genuine way. So to look at what I'm saying and superficially say you're doing this to another black woman, how dare a black woman do this to another black woman? You're not paying attention. You're not listening to what I am saying. You're being very superficial, surfacial with your reasoning. You're not going to the depths of what I'm saying and critically thinking about the words that I am saying, what I am inferring, what I am implying by the actions. There's a difference. And that's how I speak about the things that are dear to me, based on what I see, choices. Not making it up, and I'm not being hateful and spiteful, but I am observing someone who is being hateful and spiteful.